Tons of heat coming out. Tons. No smoke. Backup burners. You can't beat it, man. So here it is, folks. One thing I want to be clear about, this is a heavy-duty, robust wood stove. This isn't something you're gonna just throw in your backpack and go backpacking with, unless you have an Alice pack and you're just Rambo. This thing weighs about 30 pounds or so, and this is for like elk camp, hunt camp, canvas tents, you know, big old canvas tents. This will heat up that, no problem. And I want you to take notice of how the door is. It's on the opposite side of the opening or for the pour spout. And that's how I replicated back 40 Bushcraft's fire stove. We're gonna come in a little bit. Oh yeah, that's the macho man. He's all fired up right now. So I got a latch on the door right here. So what I did is I drilled on this hinge first because it's on the corner, and I wanted to make sure that when I opened it, everything was going to be okay. So I drilled the holes for the hinge first, and I put the hinge on, and then I cut out my opening. All right? We're going to get into all this, the other stuff here in just a second. Open this booger up, and we've got just some sheet tin kind of helping this fiberglass seal out a little bit, you know. And here's everything. I'll touch base on everything that's everything that you need. You can put right in the Joker. It's awesome. It's so cool. So we're coming around. I'm just gonna give you the basics of the setup of the little wood stove, and then I'm gonna put it together and show you everything. On the exterior of the stove, after all was said and done, I went ahead and put on this thick 1/16 thick flat steel sheet steel to help radiate that heat out. And you'll see this is gonna be your cooking. This is your cooking surface. This is so awesome. This took a while to kind of comprehend how we're gonna get the heat to transfer up through here, even though there's no holes. And we're gonna get to that in a second. So with this section, what these plates do is they hold that air, that hot air in from letting it escape. But I also wanted to utilize the handle. And so I've got a top to that, and I'll show you the top. Let's talk about the bottom real quick, because it's really, really important to have a sturdy stove. You don't want this sucker tipping over or anything like that. So what I did is I drilled just 2 holes, and I put in 1-inch diameter tubing, square tubing, and I bolted it to the bottom on the inside of the stove. As well, on the inside of the stove, I put that same 1/16 thick sheet steel as the bottom, okay, in the bottom of the fire pit. So I don't burn it out. It'll last longer. It radiates so much more heat. It radiates heat downwards. And so what these do, that's where the feet slide in. And so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start putting it together. But let's go ahead and open it up. So what I eventually want to get to, go over there, get out of here. I want to get a stovepipe that you roll up, one of those either those steel real thin that you roll up, or a titanium one eventually. It would help out. It would give us more draft. It would, just help everything. I had so much random exhaust tubing laying around, and I picked up a couple pieces. And so what's cool about that is it's modular, and you can just put the pieces together, and you can just slide them right into the stove, and it comes right with it. Heads up. So I'm gonna pull everything out of here that you can stick in there, just kind of give you an idea of how much space is in this firebox. And the initial firebox inside of here isn't the full length, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. And so we get out all these little pieces of tube, our little spark arrestor, the last couple pieces, and then we got our feet, okay? And so how these go in there in the 1-inch tubing here is this one goes in this way and the other one goes in through the other way, and with the depth, it matches up perfectly right here. So I'm going to show you real quick. Let's see. All right, you see that there? Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So when you build this, let me explain this to you real quick. One of these feet is gonna need to be the diameter of this longer. See that right there? And so when you put these together like this, when they go up in that square tubing, they're gonna be even. If you don't do that, you're gonna have wobbly feet. Okay, so what I was saying, you wanna have this back section up higher than the front. It could be a design flaw, I'll be honest with you. We probably need to bring this steel sheeting down maybe 1/2 inch. But what this also does is when you lift the back up, is it just ensures that your airflow is going to be going over the coals more so when the fire reaches the back portion of the firebox. If you have it completely level, that air is coming from the bottom down here all the way to the top very corner, and so your tinder, all your fuel wood in the very back doesn't get ignited. And so that's one thing that just keep in mind. Real quick, I'm going to throw this together real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like. I want to show you this. So, like I said, I put another sheet of steel on the floor, so we're gonna be able to burn in this sucker for so long. And here's the catch. This is what makes this stove so much better than if you were just gonna burn from here and have the air escape. I've got a baffle that goes about from right here, and it goes all the way to over here. So that's our firebox. The air travels up, comes up here, and for so long I was having problems. I wanted to cook food up here, and it would take hours to just boil water. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. This thing is putting off so much heat. It's not working. And so I had another baffle in here. Air would come up, go under here, and the other one started back here in the back and went to the front. So your hot air comes up, travels through here, and then up out through the top, like a big old S. And this chamber up here, from the top, cooking like the heating surface, or the top of the stove, whatever you want to say, to down here, that was too big of a gap for that hot air to come through. And we're trying to concentrate that hot air under here because we want to utilize this stove to our full potential. And so I went through a lot of different renditions, variations of what worked, and it just finally clicked. The diameter of this stove, and if I brought that top baffle up to a light, probably about this weld line, I'd say. That's about the same diameter as our exit. Excuse me. So I'm not going to be restricting, but it's going to be concentrating all that heat up into here. And so what you can see the other baffle inside of here. Okay, before I inserted the baffle, I put that fiberglass rope that that you seal for your chimney, your door. I put that all the way around the diameter of both sides, so it's an airtight seal. The air goes in, it's got to go all the way to the back, it comes all the way to the front, and now the hot air, where am I? I'm right here. I got that baffle, goes all the way here, and now it travels up here. It's got like a 90 degree, or I'd say a 45 degree bend in the baffle. up here, and so all the hot air has to come up this way, and then it whips around up in this bubble, and then it gets forced back down through, and it rides right underneath all that hot air. All the exhaust rides right underneath the top of this, the top surface, and so therefore this cooking surface gets super hot. You can have it open if you're boiling water, cooking steak, whatever, or if you want to, you know, have like a simmer. I made this little guy, and so where it still traps the heat completely, but you can also put it on there and it doesn't get as hot. So that's kind of how it cooks, you know. Ignore all these holes. This is the first rendition of the Stalker firebox, but I'm going to fire it up now. I'm going to get it put together. I'm going to fire it up, and then I'm going to talk about the secondary combustion chambers. All right, so we got her all set up. She's ready to burn. I'm going to talk about the airflow real quick. Now, this was the biggest conundrum for me. I wanted to build a really efficient firebox. I didn't want to waste so much fuel. I wanted to get as much heat out of it as I possibly could. And so if we look up here, let's see, let's start in the back. This is a secondary air combustion line. This goes up, bends, it gets thrown in on top of that first baffle. So we're on the top of it. So when the air comes in, when it whips around, all that unburnt smoke and gas heat up this tube, and we get a secondary combustion inside of the second combustion chamber up here. We come to these holes right here. They go up, and it's just a straight tube going all the way up, and it's always feeding direct hot air into the back side of this firebox. Like I said, I wasn't getting enough combustion in the back section back here. I wanted to you know, just make it efficient, because that's why I put all these holes at the bottom, because I thought I wasn't getting enough combustion. I just needed to manipulate the airflow. Does that make sense? And then we come into the inside of the firebox. You see this hole at the very top. This is a single square tube that travels the length of the firebox all the way across, and it's at a slight increase in angle, and it's got holes coming out the side and the bottom. And so all that, when you got the firebox rolling, that just heats up, and it's continuously shooting in a secondary combustion at the top. And now we can go to the front, and this is where it all kind of wraps up together. I don't necessarily use this too much. This airflow vent, it'll help to get things going. But usually I just use this one at the bottom. In all reality, when this gets hot enough, it's at the ratios are at such that it's pulling in such a velocity of air that it superheats the coals that are on the bottom, and it just burns like crazy. That's why I don't use, I tried mesh grates, I tried metal grates, I tried everything, but this is what I found to work the best. And so we're gonna light her up, and I'm gonna show you how well this thing works. So let's start this out real quick. You can use pine needles, leaves, whatever you want. Right now I'm just gonna use this trash bag. It's full of oily rags, trash, and all that, just paper stuff. So I'm gonna light that up real quick. What I've found to work the best with this stove, okay, and doing it this way, is you get a few on there, but you don't want to overload this joker, because you want to build up the coal base. What this stove relies on is a hot base. Your steel plate down there needs to be real hot to keep the air circulation, due to how small our aperture is for the exhaust. And so if you can keep this coal base and the wind going around it, you'll be all right. No problem. You'll see how, here in just a second, when we shut this door up a little bit, I want to get these small little sticks up here in the front. It's just like every other one. When you're done with your first burn, pull your coals to the front and you put a V down there. You want a good airflow. And then you put your dry wood in the back. This wood is a little damp, but it should work. So I'm gonna put these in, get this booger going. And you can put pretty substantial size fuel in here once it starts going. So we're gonna shut this because what I want is I want that flow on the bottom to start. No, I just snuffed her out. Let's get it going. Come on now. Come on. So with the big aperture here, that's what I was saying is like keeping it. Once we get a good. Let's see. I think she's finally starting to go. Just keep her like that. Once we get a good flow going, then we're not going to have to worry about that smoke as much. As you can see, it's kind of coming out here. Let's see. All right, we're gonna let this catch. It's not gonna take very long. You can see it's already working its way back there, and I just lit her up. So I'm gonna let it catch a little bit, and I'll check up with you. Hey, you are crazy. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Huh. Give me a woo-woo. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up. Is that a good stick? Hey. Whoa, whoa. So it's been about a minute. All right. All right, all right, all right. Can you peek in there? Can you see in there? Hello. So what helps with these front two when you start it, when you have this whole door open, the whole aperture just seems to be a little too much. And so look at this. This is one thing that I see on homemade stoves where it doesn't really make sense. To me, you would want the front aperture to be the same as the out. And then you can just manipulate the front and that'll adjust your whole flow. I don't know. It works with this one. There's no baffle in the Daily Bob. And I'm telling you, listen. She starts popping and so we're like 2 minutes. Hey, you know. Alright, you see how the front there has been concentrated and it's pretty much lit and it's starting to turn to coals already? That's exactly what you want because you want the heat coming from the front over here and it's going to be forcing its way through there, super heat in the air. Hey, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's shut it. And then this thing will start doing wah. And that when that starts happening, then you pretty much shut this whole front system down. And then it through the cracks over here in the front. That's why like you can shut this whole front end down. And then it just relies on the secondary combustion chambers. It's absolutely, look there, see? Oh. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we're like 4 minutes in, and we're at the point now where I can already shut up that air flow. Now it's just relying off the bottom. Minimal smoke. Hey now, yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna show you here in just a second. This sucker, I'm telling you, Okay, it radiates so much heat. Think about how long that air has to stay in there before it travels out the. And here's the good thing: all your unburnt gases, terpenes, everything that causes creosote, whatever way you want to pronounce it. This system, it gets so hot that you get, okay, oh man, I forgot the best part, This is your air inlet. So when you're pouring the fuel, if there's a tube that goes up under there, and it's your air tube. I got that sucker and I bent it up, and then it creates another burn section over here. That tube sucks in air and it creates a flame, and so then it heats up. Hey, I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that. I want to tell you, like, this thing, by all means, if you're wanting to build a stove for elk camp, hunting camp, or your cabin, I'm telling you, this will do it. This will do it, and it puts off heat for hours afterwards. It takes so long for this to cool down, and it would just kind of, it can be a hindrance. But I mean, when you have a tent stove, that's kind of what you're up against. Every night you wake up 3 or 4 times just to restoke the stove. With this thing, you can put in full 3, I'd say 3 4-inch wide logs, about, I don't know, 12 inches wide. You don't want to go the full diameter because it messes with the airflow, but you can put, that's the amount, because the top of the firebox, look how much of that firebox is there. That's a lot, you know, that's a lot of space. And so do it. If you build one, tag me. I want to see it. This looks janky, I know it, but it works phenomenally. The heat that's coming off the Joker already, now let's see. So our air's been going. We've already got coals. It's already, so we're gonna, you gotta be quick because this Joker's hot. We are gonna be burning, it works its way from the front and it goes all the way to the back. And I'm gonna show you. We're gonna let this burn down, get our coals, and then I'm gonna show you, because it takes a little while to warm this whole thing up, and I might have to show you the rest of this on the GoPro because my battery is dying. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you here in about, I don't know, maybe 20-30 minutes, let you know what she looks like, and then we'll go from there. To fire up the GoPro, folks. Here we go. So as you can see, she's kind of burnt down. She's made her way all the way into the back section of the firebox. And we're gonna try to pull the majority of these coals up here to the front. It's like charred halfway, whatever. We're building the foundation right now. And I know that other guys use a different method where they put smaller stuff to bigger stuff. It's the upside down method. But in this box, for some reason, it just she's sassy, you know. It doesn't work, doesn't want to do it. As you can see in here, we've got a good valley for our air to come in, and now we're just gonna, I think we've got some, I think this is spruce. She's gonna be popping. Now with this way, it's just like other fireboxes that have the intake in the bottom there. It doesn't take very long for, so sometimes if you don't have enough wood in, she doesn't get going. That's what she said. Father, forgive me. What I'm saying is you need to get the heat rolling in the front enough so where it'll transfer it to the back section. So if you don't put enough wood in the front, whoa, man, it's not gonna get the whole firebox. I just relit it. Now we got our coals. It's all hot. It's super hot. I got the angle of the dangle right. I'm gonna let this burn a little bit, heat up. Oh yeah. And I'm talking. Macho, stop it, please. I'm going to show you the secondary burns. Here. Get it. My hands are greasy. Okay, so these are some of my recommendations if you go to build this style of firebox. Stove, mini stove, tent stove, whatever you want. I call it firebox. Get your base coals down on the floor first before you start putting on more wood. The top down method for this particular design doesn't work for some reason. Could be user error, could be design flaw, whatever. This thing burns a lot slower than you think. And so with other stoves, it'll catch really quickly and you can put other wood on, and yeah, you've got to be patient with this one because it is so efficient how it burns through that wood. If you look up there, we got no smoke whatsoever. This joker up here is just hotter than heck. And we're kicking out okay? So we got our secondary combustions going right now. You can hear them. When this thing starts popping a lot, that means that the top one, yeah, it just kicked on. You can literally feel it, okay? When this top combustion kicks on, you can feel it. You can see the air rolling in through there. So if you're wanting to cook and all that, that's a good thing to do. Just keep the top off right there, this guy. Keep the top off, and then you can cook hot stuff. And then this is what I recommend when you're going to bed. You can kind of hold it in the heat a little bit more. What this will do, that'll keep this top section a lot hotter because I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is. Also, if you've been burning for a long time, I recommend putting this on for probably at least a half hour and get a good fire going in there, get it roaring, so it'll help clear out whatever creosote that may have developed over time. We live in a predominantly pine wood forest, what's left of it, yeah. And so we got a lot of resins and stuff, and if you're not smart about it, if you're not paying attention to the fire, it's not going to burn hot enough. And it will. I'm not saying this design is perfect, but say if you fall asleep and the fire kind of smolders out and it's kind of having issues, open this booger right here, let it run for like a half an hour and keep this on here, and this sucker will get so dang hot that it'll burn all that stuff, all that creosote out by itself, no problem. And so that's one thing also that I had to learn. You set up camp, you get it started and it gets dark, and then probably 3 o'clock in the morning, your fire just won't burn as well. And you're sitting there thinking like, what am I doing? It's got air, it's got heat, it's got fuel, what's going on? It's your circulation. So if you think about, a fireplace is kind of like your lungs in your body. The quicker the air can get in and the quicker the air can get out, there's your combustion. But you want to learn how to control it. And so with this being said, so let's take a look. I put a pretty good amount of wood in there now because that's going to burn, my gosh, I shouldn't have done that, but it's going to burn for like 3 hours. I'm going to be here well until dark because it's going to take so long to cool down. Unfortunately, I can't get video of the secondary combustions for you. I tried it with my other my other camera, and then the battery died, and I just couldn't. You can't see in there with it, unfortunately. But that's the Stalker wood stove, I guess you could call it. Stalker ghillie stove. We got to do some maintenance on her. She's been ran. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It's probably, how cold would you say it is, much? It's probably 36, 37 degrees, maybe 40. And I set this up in the side yard because I'm rebuilding a motor right now. Throw a couple pieces of wood in there, and it's literally, it puts off a diameter of heat that is pretty impressive for being outside and having a little bit of a breeze and still be able to be comfortable around it, you know? That's, I mean, $30. So, yeah, see what I'm saying? Dude, this joker gets real hot. I wish I had a thermometer or like a... Hey. See? And that hasn't been on there that long. Watch when it gets... Watch. So, what I also recommend is you strip all the paint off. And the very first thing you do is you paint it with some black grill grease or whatever, stove paint. Because, no, watch this number. Hey, now. That's the benefit. Hey, we can make a sauna. We just made a sauna, bruh. Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. But that's pretty much it, folks. Pretty wild, huh? I was sitting there one day, I was like, I want to go hot tent camping, but I don't want to spend a couple $100 on a backpacker's stove. Let's make one. And again, shout out to, I think it was David 40 Bushcraft. I could be wrong on the name again, but here, let's see. Let's double check. When I saw this design, I knew that it could work, but you just had to manipulate the airflow to get the good burn out of it. So, Back 40 Bushcraft, they get points for inspiration, and I just took it to the next level. So I do plan on putting up some videos about some hot tent camping videos. I'm going to put some of those out. I'm going to show you how we've gone about it and learned how to make shelters without having a hot tent. So hope you guys enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you can. Help me out. Later. Oh, dude, we're gonna be here forever. No?